Hi, you're on the Reddit Confessions channel. The door was still shaking in its frame when I realized I hadn't even blinked. I just stood there, my hand still outstretched, the air still heavy with the echo of her voice. I hope I find someone normal. No scream, no tears, just that smug little sentence and her fading perfume in the hallway. I didn't follow her, didn't call her name, didn't ask what she meant, because deep down I knew that line wasn't a cry for help. It was a final punchline. And I had been the joke. I closed the door slowly, like if I moved too fast, the reality of it would catch up and tackle me. I turned around, stared at the silent living room, and thought, was I really that strange? I mean, sure, I alphabetized the spice rack. I wear socks to bed. I once cried during a dog food commercial. But none of that ever felt like a reason to leave your husband at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday, especially not with that tone. She said it like I was a detour. Like I was the last weird phase before she met her real life. And the worst part? I didn't even argue. I just opened the door and watched her walk out like she was heading to brunch. I sat down on the couch where her throw blanket still smelled like lavender. The coffee she made was still hot. The sunlight poured in like nothing had happened. Like the world didn't just fall apart in 5 syllables. That's when it hit me. She wasn't shocked I told her to leave. She wanted me to. She had it rehearsed. Ready. Probably planned the whole scene. It wasn't a fight, it was a handoff. And just as that thought took root, a knock at the door. 10 minutes. That's all it took. I opened it with this stupid hope that maybe she'd come back. Maybe she'd cry, apologize, say she didn't mean it. But no, it wasn't her. It was Laura, her best friend, the one who always called me Miles with the delicate feelings. She wasn't crying. She was smiling. And she didn't ask if I was okay. She said, "So, do you want the truth now, or should I give you 10 more minutes?" And just like that, I realized something worse than betrayal was standing in front of me. It was the setup, and I had just walked straight into it. I didn't answer Laura right away. I just stood there, holding the door like I was buffering. My brain refused to catch up. My wife had just walked out 10 minutes ago after casually declaring I wasn't normal, and now her best friend was standing here like she had booked an appointment. Same confident eyes, same smug curve to the lips. I hated that I noticed she looked good, not in a romantic way, just sharp, composed, like someone who knew what she was doing. "Come in," I finally muttered, stepping aside. My voice didn't even sound like mine. Laura walked in like she owned the place, didn't even glance around. Went straight to the couch, crossed her legs, and said, "I'm only here because I thought you deserved to hear it from someone who's at least honest." That sentence alone made my skin crawl. I didn't sit down, just leaned against the wall, arms crossed like a middle schooler in detention. "What is it you think I deserve to hear?" I asked. She didn't blink. She didn't leave because you're too sensitive. She left because she never really respected you, and because she didn't think you'd ever make her feel anything other than safe. I stared at her. "What the hell does that mean?" She smiled like she'd rehearsed the line. "You made her feel like a houseplant. Watered. Federal. But boring." I wanted to scream, or laugh, or throw something, but I just felt small. I'd spent 8 years being supportive, loyal, the guy who fixed the sink, remembered anniversaries, and held her hair when she got food poisoning. And now I was being compared to a houseplant? Laura stood up, walked right up to me. She was inches from my face when she whispered, "But there's something she never told you. And that part is about me." That was the moment my legs gave out. Not because of what she said, but because of what she was about to say next. I didn't ask her to explain. My body reacted before my brain did. I stumbled back from her like she'd just slapped me across the face. Laura didn't move. She just stood there, watching me try to stay upright, as if my confusion was part of her plan. "What do you mean? Something she never told me?" I choked out. My hands were shaking. I didn't even try to hide it. She crossed her arms, tilted her head, and said it like she was breaking old news. "She and I were more than friends. For a while. A long while. And you were never supposed to know." My first instinct was denial. This had to be a joke. A twisted prank they were playing together. My wife had lied to me, sure, but this was something else entirely. I laughed. The kind of panicked laugh that sounds like it's trying to chase the air out of your lungs. "You're messing with me," I said. "Why would you even say that?" Laura didn't flinch. "Because I'm done lying for her. She made me lie to your face so many times, pretending to be the supportive friend while she whispered about how safe you were and how dead everything felt at home. I sat down hard on the armrest, suddenly lightheaded. Are you saying you two were intimate? She finished for me. Yeah, for almost a year. On and off. It wasn't about love, trust me. It was about thrill, rebellion, and honestly, spite. My throat went dry. My wife hadn't just emotionally left me. She'd gone somewhere I didn't even think she could. All those nights, she came home late from wine nights. All those strange text messages she dismissed as inside jokes. And I, the fool, believed every word. I stared at the floor, heart pounding in my ears, when Laura dropped the second bomb. She didn't leave you this morning because of something you did. She left because she knew I was going to tell you everything. I told her I was done keeping her secrets. So she ran before you could look her in the eye and know what she really was. Silence stretched between us. Then Laura sighed, like she wasn't done. There's more, and you deserve to hear it. But only if you can handle what's next. I looked up at her, and for the first time all morning, I stopped feeling hurt and started feeling afraid. I wish I could say I was brave in that moment, that I stood tall, called her a liar, demanded proof. But no, I sat there like my skeleton had melted, like every word Laura spoke was another crack forming inside my ribs. I stared at the rug, the one she and I picked out on some random weekend in Asheville. She said it felt earthy and real. Now it just looked like a stage for my humiliation. She told me things about you, Laura continued. The kind of things you don't forget. How you'd sit in your car for 20 minutes after work so you didn't come home too heavy. How you apologized when she forgot your birthday. How you once left a dinner party because someone mocked her handwriting and it made her sad. I was shrinking by the second. Those weren't weaknesses to me. They were love, empathy, loyalty. But Laura painted them like symptoms. She said you felt like a soft winter coat, she added. Comfortable, familiar, but after a while, too warm, suffocating. I clenched my jaw so hard I thought a molar might crack. Laura leaned in, as if she hadn't yet finished cutting. She doesn't want normal, Miles. She wants chaos, sharp edges. She wants to feel something, and you don't scare her. That's the problem. I looked up, voice barely audible. So where is she now? Laura didn't blink. With someone who does scare her. Someone she met at one of those networking events you never got invited to. The guy who works in crypto, but somehow always has cash and stories he can't legally explain. I closed my eyes. It wasn't about betrayal anymore. It was about knowing I was never even in the running. I had been the rest stop on her road to something wilder. Laura paused, then placed something on the coffee table. A folded note. I didn't reach for it. She told me to give you this after she left, she said. Said it was her way of making things right. I just stared at it. A white square of folded paper, holding God knows what inside. My heart thudded so loud it felt like it echoed off the walls. And then Laura added, almost like an afterthought, she doesn't think you'll read it. She said you'd be too scared of what the truth might actually be. And that made me reach for it. I didn't even realize I was holding my breath until the paper was in my hands. It was creased down the middle, folded clean like a job application, except it felt more like an obituary. My obituary. I sat there, fingers trembling, heart hammering so hard it made the note flutter. Laura stayed standing, arms crossed, watching me like a scientist waiting for the mouse to find the trap. I unfolded it slowly, every movement feeling like it was dragging me towards something I didn't want to see. The handwriting hit me first. It was hers. Round, neat, annoying in how perfect it looked, like she'd taken her time, like she wanted every letter to cut just right. The first line didn't waste time. Miles, I know by now Lara's told you. I asked her to, not because I'm brave, but because I'm tired of pretending. That sentence made me flinch. I wanted to stop reading. I didn't. The next part? It was a list. She had actually written a list of reasons she had fallen out of love. As if she was writing Yelp reviews for my personality. 1. You always look at me like I'm made of glass. I'm not. 2. You never challenge me. You just agree and apologize and nod like a golden retriever. 3. You try so hard to be good, it's exhausting. 4. You love me more than I deserve, and I hate it. I hate feeling guilty every time you do something kind. I swallowed back something bitter. The ink had smudged slightly around the last line, and I couldn't tell if it was from her hand or if my vision had started to blur. She ended it with, I'm not sorry I'm gone. I'm sorry I stayed as long as I did. If you're reading this, I hope it finally breaks you open. That last line, that was the one that hit like a truck. It wasn't just cold. It was surgical. She didn't want to leave quietly. She wanted me hollowed out. Laura didn't say a word. She just sat down across from me, calm as ever. Now you know, she said softly. But what you don't know is where she is and who she's with. I looked at her. You're not done, are you? She tilted her head. Not even close. Laura didn't blink when she said it. Like this was just another conversation, not the wreckage of my marriage unraveling piece by piece in front of her. She's with someone who promised her excitement, risk, and no boundaries, she said slowly, like each word was meant to sting. His name is Reeve. You've never met him, but he's been around longer than you think. My chest tightened. How much longer? I asked, though I already hated the answer forming in my head. Laura leaned back, her voice softer now, almost pitying. 2 years, give or take. He was a side project until she decided to turn him into the main event. I blinked, staring at the letter still clutched in my hand, like it could rewrite itself if I held it tightly enough. 2 years. That meant while I was planning anniversary weekends and trying to get us into couples therapy, she was planning exit strategies. I thought about all the times she said she was working late or meeting a friend from her old firm. I even remembered that night last Christmas when I waited 2 hours in the restaurant with her gift under the table, only to get a text saying she had food poisoning. Turns out it wasn't her stomach that was sick, it was her soul. I swallowed the lump in my throat and tried to speak without falling apart. So why tell me now? Why are you the one sitting here, feeding me the details? Lara's expression finally cracked, just a little. There was something behind her eyes now. Regret? Anger? Maybe both. Because I was part of it. And I can't pretend I wasn't. I lied for her. I covered things up. I played the friend while she destroyed you. And honestly, I thought you deserved better, even if I didn't say it back then. I laughed bitterly. Well, you're a little late. She nodded slowly, then reached into her bag and pulled out something small, a USB drive. This is everything, she said. Screenshots, messages, hotel receipts, voice memos. I kept them because I thought someday she'd turn on me too. And now I'm done protecting her. I stared at the drive in her palm, frozen. I wasn't sure what hurt more, the fact that she had kept all this like a secret weapon, or that my entire marriage could now fit in the palm of someone else's hand. You're not giving me this out of kindness, I whispered. You're giving it to clear your own guilt. She didn't argue, just placed it on the table and stood up. Maybe. But either way, you deserve to know the full truth, even if it breaks you. Then she walked out, just like my wife had. And I was left sitting there, surrounded by evidence of a life I thought I understood, wondering if I ever really knew anything at all. I didn't touch the USB drive for hours. It just sat there on the coffee table, silent and small, but radiating this unbearable weight, like a loaded gun with my name carved into the side. I walked circles around it. I cleaned the kitchen. I vacuumed the hallway 3 times. I sat in the laundry room with the washer door open, pretending to sort socks that didn't even have pairs anymore. Because deep down, I already knew, once I plugged that thing in, whatever illusion I had left would die for good. But when the sun dipped low and the apartment filled with that gray-blue silence, I gave in. I opened my laptop, hesitated for the last time, and slid the drive into the port. It popped open instantly. No password. No fancy folder name. Just a file labeled for Miles. That alone made my throat close. The first thing I opened was a folder of screenshots. Dozens of them. Texts from her to Laura, messages to Reeve, conversations with another number saved as Z. I couldn't tell who Z was. Not yet. But the things she said? They were nuclear. She talked about me like I was an experiment gone wrong. Said I was a life she'd outgrown. That she felt trapped in a museum of predictability. And worst of all, that she had a plan in motion. I opened a screen recording Laura must have taken from her own phone. A video of her scrolling through a voice memo from my wife. Her voice filled the room, and I felt like vomiting. Once I'm out, I don't want anything tying me to him. Not the apartment, not the accounts, not his sad little traditions. Reeve says there's a way to reroute the rest of the savings without him even noticing until it's gone. I'll leave a letter, let Laura do the talking, and by the time he realizes what happened, we'll be 3 states away. I stared at the screen, my own reflection flickering faintly in the dark glass, watching my face crumble. It wasn't just emotional betrayal anymore. It was financial, tactical, premeditated. She wasn't trying to hurt me in the heat of a moment. She was planning to erase me in cold blood. And the worst part? Reeve wasn't some shadowy stranger anymore. He was real. A full file with pictures. One of him picking her up outside our building in the car I helped her choose. And another one, taken inside our apartment. My hoodie hanging on the chair behind him. My coffee mug on the table. And then I clicked on the folder labeled Z. And I swear to God, the second I opened it, everything I thought I knew shattered in one breathless second. The folder labeled Z opened slowly, like the computer itself knew I wasn't ready. At first, I didn't recognize the name in the messages. Then it hit me like a punch to the chest. It was my brother, Zach. They had been talking behind my back for months, not romantically, but strategically. Zach had suspected something was wrong with her long before I did. He told her once, bluntly, that she was draining the life out of me, and apparently, that was when she decided he was a threat. So she played nice, sent him friendly check-ins, even pretended to confide in him. But the tone in the messages was twisted, passive threats, manipulations, subtle jabs to isolate me from him. And then, in one thread, she wrote, "If Miles ever figures it out, I'll tell him Zach tried something with me. He'll believe it. He always thinks the worst of himself anyway." That line didn't break me. It did the opposite. It lit something inside me I hadn't felt in years, clarity. In that moment, I knew this wasn't about heartbreak anymore. It was about finally seeing the difference between loving someone and being used by them. I backed up the drive, printed what mattered, and handed it off to my lawyer the next morning. The joint accounts? Frozen. The apartment? In my name only. Thank God for that prenup I once signed because her dad insisted. And Reeve? Well, let's just say his cash-only business didn't enjoy the attention it got after some anonymous tips about tax issues were forwarded to the right people. I didn't fight dirty. I fought smart. As for Lara, she disappeared after that day. I think she knew her part in the whole mess was over. She did her damage, and maybe, in some twisted way, she tried to undo a piece of it. I'll never know. But what I do know is this. I'm still here. Standing. Breathing. Healing. And for the first time in years, I feel clean. I sold the rug. Threw out the mug. Got rid of the hoodie. I even replaced the toothpaste. These days, when I look in the mirror, I don't see the sad, quiet man she said was too soft. I see someone who finally woke up. Someone who chose peace over proving himself to people who never truly cared. And if that makes me not normal, I'm more than okay with that. Thank you for watching Reddit Confessions, where real stories remind us just how deep betrayal can go and how powerful it is to rise from it. Now we want to hear from you. What's a moment in history, personal or global, where someone turned heartbreak into strength? Drop your favorite historical comeback story in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories just like this.